Danny
Barlow.
Barlow just got knocked out by some white boy. I don't know the dude that knocked him out, but I
Yeah.
want him.
Yeah, Sam Patterson.
Yeah, he's somebody on my radar. But outside of that, any title fight, I know I'll beat that dude.
You're talking about Belal.
Oh, yeah. I won't even have to skip a line. Don't give me the title shot. Give me somebody in the top 10 and make a deal with me. If I make it look easy like I've been doing it, let me get a title shot. Nobody in the pen ain't gonna beat up nobody. You can go get Mighty Mouse little ass. You can lock Mighty Mouse in a room with that big ass 240 dude you talking about.
Yeah, 4 extras.
Mighty Mouse gonna come out hurt just because of the 150-pound weight difference, but I promise you, Mighty Mouse gonna have more respect, and Mighty Mouse gonna put that dude to sleep or break a limb, or he gonna be the big dog coming out of that room. A lot of these UFC fighters, they went and put in the work. They got the skills. They built their body up to be the robot of I'm a professional UFC fighter. But a lot of these dudes, bro, they ain't got that dog in them. Like, we was chilling at a fucking function, and I walked up to them and took their fucking sandwich off their plate. They wouldn't do shit. You know, these dudes and this whole welterweight division, I'm gonna smash these dudes. Like, I've trained with the best, and I already know where I sit.
All right, so today I'm joined by Jacobe Smith after a very successful UFC debut with a first-round knockout. Welcome to the program, man. How are you?
Good. Finding you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, of course. So congrats on the win. But it's your first time here. So my first question for you is, like, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from originally?
I'm from Oklahoma. I don't know if you've heard of Muskogee, Oklahoma. It's about 25 minutes or so from Tulsa, the Tulsa area. So, yeah, I was born there, raised all over. I mean, I lived in Louisiana, California, Oklahoma as well, now Texas. So, I mean, I've been all over, but originally Oklahoma, born and raised.
And I live in California. That's where I'm from. So why did you move around a lot?
It just, my daddy was a professional football player, and he switched teams a lot. And outside of that, like, I don't know what kind of work he did and stuff growing up, but we was all over the country doing crazy stuff with him, always on the highways and stuff like that. So, you know, settling, we didn't really settle too much in certain places. So, over pretty much.
He was in the NFL or like some other pro league?
No, he was in the semi-pro leagues. He played for this team called the Land Sharks out of Lake Charles. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're a semi-pro football team. And then he was drafted by the Oakland Raiders and the Packers, I believe. And he ended up turning it down because I had an asthma attack and ended up, you know, getting close to near death as a kid, you know, rearranging his life to be with me. So,
so he had to readjust a little bit.
Absolutely.
So do you still struggle with asthma today and stuff like that?
No, once I got into middle school and they released me to do sports, I outgrew it and never had a problem with it again.
Oh, okay. What happened? Were you just playing around as a kid, like just doing your thing and just lost your breath?
No, I was born. When I was born, I came home. We didn't know I had it, but then a few months went by and I started having breathing problems at home with my parents, which I couldn't imagine now that I got 2 kids, which is kind of crazy. But started having to go to the doctor when I was about 1 year old, 1.5, and then from then on out, all the way up until middle school. And then once I got into middle school, I was pushing so hard to get into sports, and in middle school, they finally released me, and then started doing my thing. Never had a problem.
So were you like, come on, let me try this shit. Like, give me a chance at this. And your parents, like, for the longest time were like, nah, like, you can't, like, you got asthma.
Yeah, like that's what my mom would tell me. My dad just told me I couldn't play due to medical issues and stuff. But my mom was like, you know, you can't do this. You know, let me know the whole situation and the scoop. But once I was released, you know, growing up, all my friends, family, you know, cousins and stuff, they were all in sports, and they come home and we'd all play and do the sports and stuff. And, you know, I was better than everybody, but I just was the one that couldn't, get into sports until I was a freshman in high school due
I
to
see.
issues.
What was the
But
first sport you played?
I believe football.
Okay.
I took off with football. I ended up being too small, and where I'm from, we were pretty terrible. So wrestling kind of took over the spotlight pretty quick.
Okay. And I guess how did you get into wrestling like after football? Is it big in your area that you grew up in and stuff?
Yes, it was when I was coming up. It's kind of dying down now, but they were my high school team was champs the year before I got there. They won the national, not national, but state title for Oklahoma. So they were pretty good. And once I got up there, I fell into place. I loved it. Everything was good. And funny story, my daddy ended up telling me he was a wrestler as well. And
Okay.
I didn't know it. I got into wrestling thinking I was going to be John Cena,
Mm, yeah, yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And once I figured out what it was, I literally got my butt spanked by some skinny white boy that, like he had no wittiness to him, no craziness, and he just was so respectful. And I just couldn't figure out how he beat me. I was ripped, and it just it bothered me. So I fell in love with the science of figuring out how to beat people, no matter how much bigger they were.
Yeah.
It just ran from there.
I feel like that's everybody's first experience. That was kind of my first experience too. Like I was like rushing in on takedowns and shit, and the
Uh-huh.
guy just kept like flipping me to my back like at least 5 times
Yeah,
before I like learned my lesson. You know?
yeah. See, my lesson was learned in the streets with with people that were doing sports. The only difference was I didn't get to do the sports. The little back through the neighborhood. And then after sports, we still run around the neighborhood and stuff, and you fighting the kids around the neighborhood. Everybody like I'm the best. You ain't nobody knows you. You don't do sports type stuff, and then I got to beat up everybody in the neighborhood and let them know, even though I can't play on the team,
Okay.
I'm the
Yeah.
best here. That
So
kind of
you're
stuff.
on the sidelines watching and stuff, and then they're like
Yeah,
talking shit to you, so you have to like fight them to get
yeah,
their respect.
yeah, that kind of stuff.
Okay. What age were you when you started wrestling though? Just for everyone to know. Like middle school, you said, right? So around like
13 years,
11. Okay, 13.
12, I believe.
Okay, like eighth grade or what?
Yeah, eighth grade. I I ended up being pretty good right off the bat, so I stuck with it. And then my brother was a Golden Gloves champ boxing, so I fought around and stuff a lot. And then the wrestling, just the intensity that I brought with it, that kind of helped me cement my legacy into the way that it happened.
Okay. So did you box too from an early age? Like aside from I guess like some street stuff, like because your brother was boxing.
Yeah, so we had different moms. His mom lived in Tulsa, and my mom
Okay.
lived in Muskogee. So I was back and forth from Tulsa and Muskogee, just being around my brother and stuff. And he didn't have any medical problems, so he was boxing, and he actually was a Golden Gloves champ. Doing his thing. I would every time we would click up, he would teach me little things and stuff like that. And he just understood my situation as a big brother. Him being 3 years older than me, and then once I got to where I could actually enter in and do sports, you know, he ended up getting locked up and going to prison. And so
Mm,
I once I actually got to start sports. So
yeah.
I just ran with it, kept doing it, still doing it, and it's paying off pretty much.
Got you. Got you. Is he still locked up right now, or is he out now?
Yeah, he actually got 12 years for armed robbery, and and then he got in some more trouble violating his stuff, and he's back in there for about a year or so more.
Mm,
So
okay. Does that motivate you and shit? I'm sure it does, but to like if he's still in there and stuff, you want to like get to this money to
yeah,
help him out too,
yeah.
probably, right?
When he got out, I figured I would have a plan for him, that he could just slide right in and start training with me and, have this stuff set up. But I wasn't in a position to help. So when he ran back to those streets, and I'm just now getting to where I'm comfortable in life, and, I've just bought me a home, and, I'm literally going through all these processes, and it was just like time wasn't on our side when they released him the first time. So around, I'll have him something. So if he do fuck up, it'll be on him.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You can help them out because I got like a brother too. He's kind of like he does his thing, he's not locked up or anything, but I wish, I could help him out a little bit more. But he
Yeah,
likes to do his thing. So but you're gonna try to facilitate something for your brother and if he wants to take it, he could take it type of thing, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sounds good. When's he gonna get out? Like 6 months or like you said he's got a year left?
He got rescheduled a year after he violated probation, so it's about 6 months or so.
Okay,
He had
got you.
8 week plan to help get him off earlier. So I say about 6 months or so.
Okay. Is he excited about like all your success? That like.
We talk every other day.
Okay.
Anytime. No man, sorry, my
Yo.
kid.
No, you're good, you're good.
But
Hi.
we we talk every day. He understand that we both got a plan and play for him, and understand the goals that we see a vision on the same path. And when they release him, he actually gonna be getting released in Dallas. 1 second,
Okay.
mama. So it'll all line up well.
Hell yeah. Sounds good then. Okay, and then you said you were street fighting. So, you got some knockouts in the streets when you were a kid or what? Like you knew you could
Oh,
fight after wrestling?
yeah, when I knew the first fight I got into, I was probably, I say, 10 years old, maybe 11 years old. Um, it was a 12th grader. He was in 12th grade. I was 10 or 11 years old, and he lived next door to me. He was one of the popular dudes at the high school in my city, and he got into it with one of my cousins while he was over my house. And
Yeah.
my cousin was scared, him being the big dog from the school or whatever, and he ended up getting into it. My mom was like, "Get out!" Like kind of like shooing the boys off from our yard, like, "Get out of here with that nonsense." And the dude yelled something, "Oh bitch" or something. Called my mom a bitch.
Oh shit.
Little 10-year-old me took off running right at him. I sprinted at him, and I'm not knowing what the hell I'm doing. It was a log standing next to him, like a tree stump, like somebody chopped down a tree. I literally jumped off of that thing and hit him with a right hand and knocked him out. And everybody was like, "What the fuck? That little kid just knocked this dude out." Or it was crazy in my city for about a year. Everybody was like, "This dude, don't mess with him," type
Mhm.
stuff. But
That's
after
crazy.
that, I knew. I was like, dude, it's too easy every time I'm fighting. I got to get into some kind of sport.
Yeah. How old was that kid, by the way? You said he was older than you?
He was a senior in high school, and I was 11 years old.
Damn.
Yeah, and he would beat up my cousin. I had a cousin over. He was arguing. They got into a fight a couple of times, and it's not like he just dogged my cousin, but my cousin knew he couldn't beat him up, and so I called my mom a bitch. My cousin wasn't gonna fight him, thinking he was gonna. And I'm little. I was small as hell. Like these are grown men almost, and just took over me, possessed me, and all I know is after I hit him, I was like, "Oh my god, I hit that dude," and seen him on the ground. He was holding his face and rolling, and after that, I was like, "I'm the man."
And
Like,
everybody knew about it in the city after that.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What happened with him after that shit? I feel like you gotta like disappear after you get knocked out by an 11-year-old, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what happened because he was like one of the most popular dudes at the school. But his daddy came running outside. Was like, "Who hit my son? Some." Like it was just a crazy commotion with the neighborhood. And my mama came out, "My son, something. Yeah, you going crazy?" My mama hell. But he was like, "Yo, little 10-year JJ," because everybody used to call me JJ. He's like, "Hell yeah." And I'm sitting there looking by my front porch, like scared as hell, thinking, what the hell finna happen? I'm about to run and grab a knife or, really get crazy because I'm thinking these people finna rush our house. It's my mama, a little bitty kid, and then one of my cousins. And then they got teenage boys and then they whole family next door going crazy. And I'm just ready for whatever type stuff.
Was he cool with it though? He's a guy like my son called you a bitch. Like I'll let it go.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't do nothing because, I mean, even though as a kid I'm thinking all those scary thoughts, my daddy, who my dad was around the town, like he moved in from Tulsa and he literally took over all the Bloods and the Crips, the gang banging with the head honchos and had an understanding that whatever was going on, like had to go through him first. So people didn't really like to mess with me because they knew who my daddy was.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay, so your dad was a big boss over there, wherever
yeah,
he went.
oh yeah, like it's some
Yeah.
crazy stories that you could hear, but like it was some people that robbed the bank back when I was growing up. I was probably my son's age, 6 years old or so.
Okay.
So street dudes robbed the bank in Muskogee, and they got away with a lot of money. My daddy ended up fucking kidnapping them, holding them hostage,
Oh
and
shit.
stealing the money that they stole from the bank from them, and getting the hold of that money. That like
What
he was a
happened after that?
he we got that money. Like we was living good after that. Like
Okay.
oh
What about now though? Like, are you good to say that? Like, nobody's gonna come after you guys for that?
no, we're good. We good.
Okay.
It's all handled
Okay,
under
for sure.
but
What's your
yeah,
dad up to now?
fucking coaching, trying to train with me and stuff. Like
Okay, so he's with you right now.
he's still a hothead. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Was
he caught the first Grand Theft Auto case in Oklahoma before any of that stuff was a thing. He was running around. You get on Grand Theft Auto and you take people out their car and rob them and stuff.
yeah,
He caught the first case ever in Oklahoma doing that kind of shit growing up when he was younger, like teenager growing up.
before he had you and shit like that.
Yeah, he was doing
Okay.
shit like that.
But he had to cool down over the years.
Oh yeah,
Probably
for sure.
after having you, I would assume.
Yeah,
Once he got that money, he's probably like, all right, let me take it easy now. I got this money
yeah.
finally.
Got to be smart.
Yeah. I was gonna say too, um, how did you avoid kind of like getting into trouble? Did your dad create a path where he's like, look, you're not gonna get into any trouble. Like, I'm kind of doing my thing, but like that's to give you a better life. So you don't have to.
Uh, no, with me, he never hid nothing from me or showed me that he didn't want me not doing things. He just did what he did, and when he did it, he made sure I understood right from wrong. And growing up, I didn't have my brother or nothing. I was around all girls, so I was pretty protective and quiet because they was always coming like, I'm gonna get my brother on you, and I'm fighting hella fights that I shouldn't be fighting just because my sisters was crazy.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was not too loud or outgoing, but popular because of my sisters and having to defend them and people seeing my skills and abilities that way. But I wasn't a people person.
Not much of a people person. So you stay to yourself and like your family, it sounds like.
Oh yeah.
So you didn't really get approached because I mean that happens, right? If you're growing up around the Bloods and the Crips and you're from that neighborhood, they probably want you to join or something like that.
Oh yeah. Like,
Yeah.
but them knowing who my situation and stuff, like it be situations where I'd be hanging out with somebody for the day, not knowing that they did something yesterday, rob somebody from the other side, and they come and get the dude that robbed somebody on their side, and I'd be standing there hanging with them, and they be like, "Leave him out of this." And so they running through the dude's house that I'm kicking it with for that day with guns, looking for him because he robbed somebody a couple of days ago, trying to kill him. And I'm sitting there in the house, knowing, and everybody knowing that I'm not to be touched, but I'm fucking like, you never know, being around this crazy.
Yeah, that basically sounds like fucking I think Gilly, right?
Who?
Gilly. He's like a rapper.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
And his son passed away, right? Like his son got like murdered.
Yeah, yeah,
And
they
that's
try.
exactly what you're explaining. Like he wasn't involved in the life, but he was hanging out around people from that area. And a rival gang from the other neighborhood came by and shot up the block, and he ended up getting shot and killed.
Yeah, like I've been around so much of that. Like it's a miracle that I'm got to where I've gotten to.
Hmm. Are you able to kind of like you're good now, or are you still living in like a rough area in Dallas and
No,
stuff?
I stay away. Like I went and made my money. I bought a home. I own a home in a nice ass area. Golf course, all that. But still got to get the rest of them out.
Yeah. Okay, since we're on this topic, and then I want to move on to like your wrestling accomplishments so everyone can kind of know like about your skills too. But there's a Crip. I don't know if you've seen any videos, but that guy 4 Extras from No Jumper?
I don't.
You don't.
Uh-uh.
Okay, so there's this Crip from LA, and he gets locked up like every other month. Like he spent a lot of time in jail just for like petty stuff, right? Like probation violations and shit like that.
Yeah.
But he's a big dude. He's like probably 240.
Yeah.
And he's claiming like he's ran like 20 fades in jail and shit like that because he's a Crip, right? So if anybody's a blood or something, they have to get down right there.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying he's got like 20 fights in jail and shit in a day. He's got more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he went on No Jumper, and Adam 22 was saying like, hey, like I know you're tough, right? But you're not as tough as a UFC fighter, right? He's like, I
Yeah.
can't imagine what these UFC fighters are going through. And he's like, dude, they're not as tough as me, right? And
Yeah.
this is escalated because everyone's posting it, and he's basically saying like he could knock out a UFC fighter,
I did end up
and
seeing.
him and SD Dumas. You know SD Dumas?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're trying to like set up a fight, but 4X is locked up right now.
Mm-hmm. That'd be crazy.
So I mean, what do you think? Because he's a big ass dude, right? And he fights in the streets.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's like Kimbo Slice shit.
Yeah, but if you fucking put Kimbo Slice and me in a room, like it's a whole. Put me and Kimbo Slice in a room and say, whoever comes out get $1 million, this mansion, this luxury life of whatever the fuck you want. I'm coming out of that room within the 10 minutes. He ain't lasting 10 minutes. Skills that I got with the wrestling, the striking, and then that dog. Like that's the combo that a lot of these UFC fighters, they went and put in the work, you know. They got the skills. They built their body up to be the robot of I'm a professional UFC fighter. But a lot of these dudes, bro, they pussies. They ain't got that dog in them. Like if he was chilling at a fucking function and I walked up to him and took their fucking sandwich off their plate, they wouldn't do shit. You know, these dudes and this whole welterweight division, I'm gonna smash these dudes. Like I've trained with the best and I already know where I sit. It's just the fact of these dudes ain't letting me fight as often as I want to fight.
Yeah. Okay. So it's only been 2 months, right? You said you were gonna fight like a week after your last fight in January.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
I've been like I want to go.
But what's the deal? They're looking for a better opponent for you or something?
Everybody booked or you know whatever the negotiation standings, however they getting me out there. I don't think people want to fight me.
Okay. Well, we'll make some noise with this one then for sure.
Oh yeah,
But
oh yeah,
okay, let me ask you this one though. You said a lot of the guys, right? They're not gonna do much if you take like a sandwich off their plate, so to speak, right?
yeah,
That's what I think makes four extras kind of dangerous. It's
yeah.
like a factor, right? If you do fight a UFC fighter, they're more skilled, they got the cardio, but like right then and there, like in a street fight, what do you think happens? Like, is it closer than people give four extras?
So you saying in a situation of if me and 4X something happened like that?
I get okay. I guess because you're different. You're like the anomaly, right? Because most of the guys don't really have that like street background in the UFC, oddly enough. So with like a guy who doesn't have that street background versus four extras, how do they go?
So I can play you this.
Okay.
Before I started hanging out with Nick Piccinini, you know him?
Yeah.
He,
Wrestler.
yeah. Before I started hanging out with him every day and living with him, and you know, we went out and had dinner, and some dudes was there. They had a lot of money. You could tell they was just some balling ass dudes in California when we lived there. But we was there training. We literally lived in a shack. We didn't have no money. We was training. We was out one night having dinner, and these dudes walked up to us. We had some pretty girls with us, and you could tell they had a lot of money and they wanted those girls. But they came over disrespectful, putting hella bottles on our table and doing all this, sitting there looking at them. And then my buddy Nick stands up to shake his hand, you know, like this is cool, not understanding what's going on, you know. And I stand up, I grab the bottle and pick it up off my table and I put it back into his chest. And I'm like, "What's up? How you boys doing tonight?" And he was like, "Are we doing good? Something, something." And that's all he said to me. And then he started talking to the girls. And I immediately knew before we even had that altercation what these dudes was over here. They was over there trying to flex.
Yeah, trying to
But
mark you guys out real
but
quick.
but my boy, he didn't understand because he ain't from that. But he a fighter, a professional, and if he get down with them dudes right then and there, he whoop them. But he don't understand what they trying to do to them or the disrespect that's being there. You know, he just think the people. He from the East Coast. He New York. Everybody, people. You know, like to be around. He just used to that kind of stuff. Oklahoma, this Midwest, that's disrespectful. You don't come. I walk up to you and your lady having dinner, and I set a bottle down, and say, and you mentioned to me, "What's up? Like, who are you or whatever?" And the first thing you say is, "What's up?" to a girl that's there with me.
Yeah, hell
Like,
no.
like stuff like that. Like I'm already 10 steps ahead of that, planning on my reattack. He thinking, all right, we making friends, and as he thinking we making friends, in between that altercation, at the end of it, he understand, oh, this dude ain't trying to be my friend. Now I gotta get into a whole. Whereas I'm already, it's automatic for me,
Right.
and that's the only difference. But ain't nobody in the pen ain't gonna beat up nobody. You can go get Mighty Mouse little ass. You can lock Mighty Mouse in a room with that big ass 240 dude you talking about.
Yeah, 4 extras.
Mighty Mouse gonna come out hurt just because of the 150-pound weight difference. But I promise you, Mighty Mouse gonna have more respect, and Mighty Mouse gonna put that dude to sleep or break a limb, or he gonna be the big dog coming out of that room if it was a bet, like who coming out to get this money every time. So even putting a 240 versus a 240, that's stupid.
Right.
Like
I
we
get what you're
do that,
saying. You're kind of saying too,
but
like, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
it's just mm, like a lot of people can do shit, show up and do shit. Like I'm an athlete where I can go play basketball, I can go do this, or I can do this just because I'm an athlete. There's people that do shit every day to where they can't fuck up just because they do it every day. This is their profession. And no matter how good or how hard you try to catch up, they've done this their whole life. So, I mean, it's only a matter of time before they start stretching the gap on you if you decide to enter into that altercation with them.
Yeah, I hear you. I think too, though, what I think that what he really should be saying is he has potential because he's been having these fights in jail and stuff like that.
Yes.
You can take that and build something with it. But
Yes.
you can't say I've been fighting in jail and think you could take a fully trained UFC fighter who's actually getting coached because you're fighting in jail, but there's not too much thought that goes behind it. It's right on site and you're not
Yeah.
going back game planning and shit because you don't know who you're going to fight, the next hour.
Bro, that shit usually only lasts 2 minutes max.
Right, right.
Like 30 seconds, and you like talking about it, and it seemed like an hour, but you like, oh shit, bro, that was 30 seconds, bro. We do this hours on
How else are
end.
you going to get 20 fades in a day?
You know?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, it's interesting though. A lot of people are kind of like thinking he's gonna get knocked out if he ends up fighting SD, but he told SD he's gonna knock him out. So I guess like, do you think he has any chance or
Oh
no?
yeah.
Puncher's
If
chance.
yes, yes. Go in there fighting like you fight. Like don't go in there thinking you a fighter trying to fight the whole fight. Go in there, try to knock his ass out in 20, 30 seconds. Worst case, it end up being 1 minute and you knock him out. But if he survived that minute, you fucked.
Yeah. Okay. Now you want to get a fight going. Um, Guys, I guess are turning you down. So, is there any names on your mind that you like that you've been looking at or anything?
Absolutely. I don't know his name exactly, but
I mean, we could pull up Tapology. You want me to do that?
absolutely. So
All
this
right.
dude named Barlow, he just
Oh,
he
Danny
Danny
Barlow.
Barlow just got knocked out by some white boy. I don't know the dude that knocked him out, but I
Yeah.
want him.
Oh, you okay? So you're gonna avenge Danny's loss there.
Yeah,
Okay, I think that guy's name is Sam Patterson. He's 13-2 from England.
yeah. He's somebody on my radar. Him how he knocked out Barlow made me want him bad.
He's got a let's see, he's got a knockout or a rear naked choke off contender series.
Hmm.
He got knocked out in his debut, but since then he's got 2 submissions and a knockout, all
Nice.
first round. So he's coming off 3 first round finishes.
Yeah, that'd be a nice little matchup, I believe.
All right, Sam Patterson then.
Yeah,
Okay, for sure. And then
but outside of that, any title fight, any if something fall out, like I can be 2 weeks, 1 week, a week and a half. Like let me know. Like I want that title fight more than anybody. Like I don't. You can pay $10 and I'll fucking still fight it. That's I know I'll beat that dude.
you're talking about Belal.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
what'd you
yeah.
think when like, Shavkat couldn't make it? They
No,
switched
I
into
don't think
in
Shavkat.
JDM.
I think Belal will beat Shavkat just because of Shavkat's his dog, his mentality. It's it's not up there with on the level of the champs, but Belal's. But Belal is definitely a step and a half at least ahead of him. And I believe that's why Shavkat didn't take that fight, because he started realizing that.
Really? Because there's also like a torn MCL he's got. So people are saying he's just not going to be ready by like next month or 2 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
But you think it's kind of a mixture of that, I guess you could say?
For sure.
Yeah. Why don't you think he's about it? He looks like he's kind of a killer, no?
Yeah. Well, I watched him fight my teammate Jeff Neal, and I mean, besides the submission, his hands, he didn't look like a better striker. He didn't look like, he just was a better grappler and a better position fighter, as opposed to Jeff was landing better strikes. Wobbled him twice in that fight, I believe. Just not a wrestler, and got choked out and ended up having that happen. But just going with all these different feels and different versions of people, and getting the ins and outs of how when they go with those people, how they do, and understanding certain people's um, approaches on how they want to go with fights. Nobody has what it takes right now. Like, the next generation coming up, the evolution is the only thing that I'm gonna have to worry about. Some young kid coming up, due to evolution, he ahead of me. But when it comes to wrestling, ain't no welterweight wrestling with mine. Striking, my understanding of the simple striking is so well that I ain't gonna play the game of, 1, 2, 3, kick to the head, kick to the head, kick down. Like, I understand where my good strikes are with my straights. I don't need to throw hooks, big moves, or nothing. I'll throw my straights to grab you. If I don't need to grab you, I'll keep them straights coming. But I go toe to toe with anybody, and ain't nobody gonna submit me. I mean, I'm I outdo everybody everywhere I need to do it, and my pace. So
Yeah. No, I hear you. I would say too, right? Because I understand what you're trying to say as far as like there's not many guys doing what you're doing. Also that want to fight. Like I get what you're saying with the Shavkat thing. Like he's more of
mm,
he how do you say it? He uses the point system to his
yes,
advantage, right? Versus like a guy like Jeff, you're saying he fights. He comes and just brings the fight with that dog. You
yeah,
also do that. I think there's a few guys, like there's not very many, but the only other one I could think of is a guy like Buckley.
yes.
He's
Which,
kind of he's pretty much like you too, no?
uh, understanding, like, Buckley is transitioning into somebody that's a dog fighter that can point fight you, if you understand that. So a point fighter ain't pressuring you and giving you that oh shit feeling, as opposed to that dude that's giving you that oh shit, but you ain't worried about really nothing but getting knocked out. So if you mix those and you got somebody that's actually skillfully sniping you, but not trying to intentionally kill you, but it's killing you because everything is so strategically on point, and the skill is there. A lot of people don't even know how to get to that because they don't have that attitude. Like, it's a kind of anger that you got to have when you get tired, that you have whenever some man is trying to disrespect you in front of your woman, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. You're saying you get tired? What was that last part you said?
So in a sense, like, the way you get tired, you gotta be able to answer that. You have an answer for it, in a sense.
Like push
Like,
through it.
yes. So a lot of people get tired and their body just don't do the same thing. They're slower, they're this, they're that.
Mhm.
But I mean, you gotta
Have
calculate.
that dog in you.
You gotta have that calculated already. So, like, whenever something happens, like that situation I gave you with my boy Nick, he didn't understand why he was trying to disrespect him. You gotta be 2 steps ahead of that with the feints and stuff. It's more so, it got to be broken down to a science, but all you got to do is just keep moving and keep the attitude, and everything else will take care of itself with position skill. And people don't have that because they didn't wrestle, or they strike too much. And when they do get a wrestler, they thinking low, they thinking up here and down here, and then they really need to be somewhere in the middle. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Right.
That that middle sweet spot is where you need to be, and a lot of people don't know how to find it.
And I think that's what happens if a guy kind of gets exposed in one area and then they don't have the tools to take it to another area. You see
Mm-hmm.
the fight end very quickly after that.
Yeah. Like if you come to my trainings, like I watch boxers and Canelo, all the hot superstars, their trainings, not the superstar shit, the fights and stuff. And I watch them how no matter what, they always in a comfortable situation, where if I'm sparring with somebody, I know I'm better than him, or, not me. When I go train, if I'm a box today, I'm not gonna have the success. I'm gonna go find somebody that's way better than me. And today, I'm the whole time I'm trying to take a couple steps to catch up, not 3 steps ahead, and I'm playing that game. I'm actually going and putting myself in the fire, the stress shit. Whereas when I was in college wrestling, competing, I would try to find the easier ways out, you know, and people don't do that. They, you know, tank, don't punch me or come wipe my face. I got stuff in my eyes type shit. No, keep that shit in your eyes. Come do this. Like I'm gonna deal with this in training because when it happen out there, it's gonna be so fucking second nature that I know how to handle it because I do it so much in training. Like you will never catch me comfortable in training. And I mean, I'm giving a little bit of my sauce away, but that's the thing. Like I'm never like on a great day, I didn't have success. If I had a successful day and I didn't get touched or I'm like coming out the gym feeling good, I'm like, man, fuck, I didn't work hard enough. I didn't push to that limit.
That
And
probably
that's
gives you more anxiety.
yes. And
Yeah.
then you learn how to deal with that shit. So no matter how crazy it get when you in the zone or it's 40 fucking thousand people in your face or like it's installed in you.
Yeah. You see it a lot in the UFC to some degree when a guy gets pushed up too quickly and he's not ready for it. And then
Yeah.
like he gets in that moment where it's like, fuck, I don't have the answers. Kind of like no offense to him, but like a Cheeto Vera.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this one. Because you threw him out, right? You threw out that guy's name, Sam Patterson. But just in case, if the UFC wants options, where do they even have you ranked on like Tapology?
Probably nothing. I've only got
Oh,
one
you're
fight.
49. Hey,
Damn.
there's like a Phil Rowe up there.
A Phil Rowe? Who is that?
You don't Philip Rowe, he's from Florida, but he is coming off 2 losses.
Yeah,
You need a guy coming off a win, right?
yeah, for sure.
Let me see here.
Actually, it don't matter if they gonna give me a title fight, I'll take it off anything. But anybody
I know
else,
you want that title fight, which is kind of
I want it
crazy.
bad. I want it bad.
So you
Like
want to
I'm,
skip the line, you want to get up there.
yeah, and I won't even have to skip a line. Don't give me the title shot. Give me somebody in the top 10 and make a deal with me. If I make it look easy like I've been doing it, which I know is gonna happen, I ain't taking no damage. If I keep that same stuff going on, let me get a title shot. Like, let me show you how, even though I'm in the top 10, I still keep making it look like these dudes don't have an answer for me. Give me a title shot. Just to be fair. I'm not skipping a line or doing nothing crazy.
So give you a top 10 guy. Because what does DC think? Because you're DC's guy, right? Like DC's high
Yeah.
on you.
He think I need to start training more, taking it more serious and training more because I don't really go to the gym as much as I should.
You're
But
just doing
I like
backflips at
training
home
on my own.
still?
Yeah, I just flip at home. I stretch, make sure I don't have no aches and pains. And bro, I'll get on the bag in my garage or, run at home or do my own thing. I don't believe in killing myself for other teammates whenever they BS or they not as dedicated to to fighting as much as I am.
I see. But
So
as far as DC and thinking you should train more, are you going to train more like to get this top 10 opponent? Like,
oh yeah. I mean I train, it's not like I'm not training. It's just the answers from coach is Jacobe ain't showing up to the gym as much as I think he should be, and they don't know what I'm doing. But I'm a grown ass man. I know how to hold myself accountable. I mean, I did 5 years of wrestling in college, Oklahoma State, and I know, like I've made weight. I know how to do it. I mean, we've done it every weekend when we was in college, so doing it every 2 or 3 months ain't nothing. And so easy, and I feel like going there every night it's kind of holding me back. But unless somebody like really need me or they getting ready for a fight, like I'm not in there wasting my body for somebody that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, okay, because that is something to account for, right? A lot of training, a lot of fighting, it's a lot of wear and tear on the body. It's not like wrestling where you can train a lot and it's not, I mean, it's wear and tear, but you're not getting
Yeah,
punched and kicked
yeah,
and elbowed.
that brain ain't
Yeah,
getting hit.
exactly. So I think there is a balance. I mean, you look at a guy like Khabib who does train a lot and he's one of the goats.
Hmm.
But I think there is something to say with what you're saying because the brain is the most important. If you look at a guy like Donald Cerrone, you
Hmm.
know, his brain went before his body went, I think,
Yeah,
to some degree.
shouldn't be a factor. Like you definitely be controlling all your trainings. Like before one of my fights, before the contenders, I was I went home to train with my dad. We was training a little bit, and you could tell he was getting excited and trying to see himself and his younger version do the same stuff. And he started like swinging at me, and he hit me with a shot that like rocked me. And I don't even get rocked whenever I'm sparring, or I haven't even never been that. It just hasn't happened to me yet. And dude, I'm in here barely playing, getting ready. I fight in 2 days, and you in here trying to knock me out. Like I don't fucking play that shit. Like this training is over. Like it's done. Like
I think that's smart on your behalf, honestly, to
yeah,
call it like that. Did you tell DC that? Like, do you guys have that conversation where you're like, well, what do you think about like not taking shots when I don't have a fight booked?
yeah. So yeah, we talked about it all, and it's basically just broken down to the science of 4 weeks minimum is what I need for a title shot. But outside of that, since I'm so in shape, I mean, give me a week or two, and we can go toe to toe with anybody. But
People are
they
gonna think that's like that's defying the norms. I gotta tell you.
it is, but
Like nobody else can really talk like that. Not even the top like five in, at welterweight right now. I don't even think want that.
well, I can talk like that because I'm living that life. Whether you living that life, like I wake up every day, my kids ain't going to school and me doing this bullshit. Like I homeschool my kids. Like I'm trying to build this shit from nothing. Like and I'm not like fucking around. Like I'm not going toward my where I'm what I want my goal is and then going off and fucking around and then coming back. Like I'm on it. Like I don't have help from my family. Like I'm not talking to my mom every day like I should be and my parents and like I want that. But they life so fucked up. They live in the ghetto and the stressful shit I grew up in. They not out of it yet. And I can't give them my money to help them because I don't have money like that. I've had one fight. UFC only paid me 20 grand. I can't help the whole family with 20 grand, but eventually I know that's what I want to do. So it's a chip on my shoulder that helps that attitude no matter how tired I get, fucking get angry and think about that. And it'll get me that much more farther.
Yeah. Okay. A few more questions I have for you. Just, I mean, I'm enjoying this. So let me ask you this one. With money talks, you have a you know, you might want to fight out your contract, right? Get some good knockouts with some lower ranked guys, and then you can go ahead and get that big bag on your next contract. Or, I mean, if you do what you're saying you want to do, I think that money's gonna they're just gonna be throwing money at you if you go out and knock out Belal on like 2 weeks notice, so to
Yeah.
speak, right? So what do you
Hmm.
think about both strategies? Like that slow build to build up a lot of money, right? So that you can earn it with a fan base, or just like go crazy 0 to 100.
Honestly, the best version would be 0 to 100, just because with what I got planned, which is to get in, get out, not be here all too long or do too much craziness. Um, take that quick route, and me knowing what my abilities are, just I mean, I truly believe that like you give me this opportunity, I answer the scratch better than anybody's ever answered it before.
Okay. All right.
And that's in any situation. Like that's how well prepared I will be.
Okay. And now they're saying you're like the next Khabib and shit. What do you think about that? Not you're gonna be Khabib, but like that level of potential, I guess you could say.
It just the first thing that crossed my mind when they saying it is like this. It's been this like even from the day I graduated Oklahoma State, moved to California to train with Khabib. Like we was training every day. I would get my ass whooped, and you know days where I was like, man, them motherfuckers are just different. They're fucking the Russians are better than everybody to some extent. To where I train with them after having surgery, and to where they can't take me down. Like they can't take me down. I'm not getting submitted, and I can strike with them. And this is fucking a year and a half out of Oklahoma State with a knee surgery and a wrist surgery. So I'm just now getting to where the surgeries are recovered, and now I want to talk shit because I can do a full push up and a squat. And I was fighting my first 7 fights. I couldn't do a push up. My wrist was still recovering from the surgery. I fell off a skateboard going 30 miles an hour with my son and literally fucked my whole wrist up. I had to get a special hand surgery and then knee surgery right before that because of wrestling, and literally was taking fights without being cleared and was winning and making it look like I wasn't hurt. And now that I'm healed and not hurt, it's like I don't think I've even been punched in the face. I'm just so all over these dudes with I don't know. I'm just ahead. I can just see how ahead I am.
So what they're saying as far as like you being like on Khabib's potential, that comes from watching you basically train with the Dagestani guys with these, surgeries kind of like
Yeah.
shortly removed
And then them
and you
think,
having success to some degree.
yeah, with me not training like they think I should be training.
They're like, "Oh, he's probably gonna get worked here. This is gonna be his humbling moment." And then
Yeah.
they're like, "Damn, like
Yeah.
Jacoby's still fucking like handling his business in here."
Mhm.
Okay.
How? Like, you need to be up here training. We train tonight at 8. I can't come. My I'm my kid's teacher and my wife is at work. Like, I'm not leaving home by herself. Like, sorry. You Then you got everybody else up there twice a day, every day. And I'm showing up once or twice every 2 or 3 weeks. It's like, what the fuck? But them motherfuckers ain't at home doing what I'm doing, waking
What are
up.
you doing at home? Are you doing like backflips? Because that's what you said. This caught me by surprise. You said if you could do 30 backflips, you could basically fight anybody on any
Yeah,
time's notice. As long as you know you could do 30 backflips in a row.
yes. So I'll literally wake up, do some school, eat with my kids, play around. But then if they want to come, sit them in the gym with me, I'll run on the treadmill, run 2 miles, I'll bike, I'll just move around, make sure I'm just like, oh shit, this morning. And once that happens, the rest of your day is like, shit, I'm glad I did that. And then I'm building from there. But when I was in college, bro, if I had a day off, I'm taking the whole day off. I'm resting, eating, like a pig. You know, the fighting stuff is like easier, but it's like less high maintenance, if that makes sense.
It's almost like you just kind of got to stay in shape. But what
Yeah,
about what about boxing, hitting the pads, but not sparring? Like in this off time that you're in right now.
I've never had a mitt coach, which is crazy because everybody need to get a mitt coach. You need to, and it's like, how the fuck is your hands getting better if you don't hit pads or? And it's because I literally put myself in there with Jeff Neal. I tell myself, you cannot fucking wrestle. I don't give a fuck how bad it get. Fight him and figure out how to do it without wrestling. So I'll fucking get in there and fucking start getting success in striking. And I'm like, dude, just put yourself in situations to get better. Like, and then when you start seeing the benefits, it's like, oh shit, struggle is, I mean, obviously you got to have a gas pedal on it. Don't just fucking floor it to where you just fucking your body up, but throttle that stress on your body just a little bit. Where I wake up one morning and I'm off. Don't take the day off. Go fucking push the gas pedal halfway down, still get a little bit of something in. As opposed to, oh, we in here with Jeff, Jacoby, we about to kill it. We about to kill each other. Like, no, that's not, you're not about to kill me. Like, we ain't getting paid to train. Like, if I'm not making $10,000 or more, you're not finna go turn up on me full speed at all.
Yeah, got you.
So
Less is more to some degree, I feel like you're saying.
yeah,
I guess we'll see because that knockout you demonstrated, you can't really say much about your training right now, saying like you need to change things up, you're not doing the right things because I mean, your performance was probably one of the best knockouts I've seen in a long time, super clean, like on the
yeah,
level of like a boxing knockout. Like I've seen Shakur's knockouts, a couple of his early ones, and that one kind of reminded me of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me because I watch that. Usually, bro, after I fight, I dip out. I don't watch. I don't enjoy watching fights. Do it because I'm good for some reason. And it's like, even my homies tell me, like, it's like, you lucky, bro. You're not even interested in your fucking job, but you like one of the best. But it's like, I'm not too caught up in that. Once I get what I want out of this, I'm gone. Like, give me my money. Like, let's say somebody called me up and was like, hey, you want to come be a model at Vogue, underwear model or some shit? Like, peace out, UFC.
If
Like,
they give you a milli.
give me some money to where I ain't gotta fight.
All right. I'm very interested to see how your career plays out because I think you're an exciting guy just to talk to. You know what I mean? And obviously, if you can capitalize on everything you're saying, people are going to be probably just as shocked as I am right
You
now.
watch, baby.
Yeah.
It won't happen. I'm manifesting this shit. Like,
Okay. Let me get a few more. Can I get a few more questions in for you?
absolutely.
Okay. So you love the knockout, right? But you're also very talented at wrestling. So people, like a guy like Tyron Woodley, right? He kind of fell in love with the knockout. I feel like
Yeah.
that's a lesson you could learn from guys like that. What do you think about that? Like, are you gonna fall in love with the knockout, or are you always gonna kind of keep it balanced, or in that kind of thing?
I'm 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 so in a space to where like it's all about feeling good with me that one day it could be like, all right, I might try to be quick and touch him quicker than he can touch me. One day it might be, oh fuck this, jam him up, take him down, slam him down, take him down, and bear him like a bear grabbing a deer. Just like I'm so good at adapting to whatever needs to be done. Like it might rain in the jungle today. A fire might be set out here today. You better have your fucking shit that you know how to do that's gonna keep you at the top. Like I got those for every fucking situation that I feel that I see might be a problem. And for me, it's showed and it's continued to show. And for me, where it shows is in training. And if it's showing in training, when I go out there, it's only gonna be better for me.
Okay. All right.
So
Because also we like with Bo Nickel, I guess a different perspective as far as the grapplers go.
mhm.
You and Bo Nickel are like the only real college American wrestlers we have. Like I can't think of any other guys right now. Um, can you? Or no? Is there anyone else I'm
uh,
missing?
I mean, the older guys like Michael Chandler and them.
Right. But like the new prospects to like
Yeah,
hopefully represent the country for the coming years.
yeah, I'm not sure. I would really have to go through some rosters.
I think it's just you and Bo. But
Yeah,
Bo, he didn't really grapple that much with his last opponent, And for me, I'm like, dude, I wanted to see you beat his ass on the ground. Like,
yeah.
even if you could beat his ass on the feet, like I wanted to see it on the ground because he's a grappler. So,
Hmm.
like, if you were to get up against a grappler, um, what did you think about Bo's fight? Like, would you use Bo's approach? Like, but you're also a better striker. So just kind of curious
Yeah.
about your take as far as if you fight a grappler, like, are you gonna try to make a statement, and beat their ass on the
Oh
ground,
yeah.
like I'm saying?
Statements every time I'm in there and it's a situation like that, I'm in there to make a statement. Like that's one of my things. Like I'm not too caught up on exactly the win or the loss. It's making that statement. So I want to embarrass my opponent, like, but without disrespecting him. You know, like my goal is to him throw a 1-2 and hit me, and him throw it again and me slip and then knock him out and like just embarrass him. I gave you everything. You had all your chance. Like I want to embarrass you. Like I want to make you know that you had your chance and you still couldn't get it. I don't want to play the game of all right. I got to go in there and take get here or else I'm fucked. It's like I'll play a little game, but I'm making a statement. Like I'm gonna jam you up and give you my best shit, even if like I'm in one of those excitement things. Like even when in wrestling, like wrestling wasn't always exciting to me, but I know if I was in that duel or that lineup or that tournament, regular fans that was coming to watch, they was gonna be like, "Oh shit, this dude is exciting, bro. I don't know shit about wrestling, but I want to watch him." Like that, my fighting style is like it's just excitement from
Okay.
every.
All right. I
So
think the fans are gonna like to hear that because Bo's super popular, and I wish he would kind of, start like mauling guys on the ground more. But that was
yeah,
one performance. I'll let it slide. We'll see what he does in the next one. But like, the levels of Kamzat, where he just comes in there and just like,
yeah,
does his thing. I
yeah,
I love to watch it personally as a fan.
yeah. Me too, brother.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say Bilal and JDM. What happens in that fight? Bilal's gonna take it or JDM's gonna take it?
Bilal,
Bilal.
Bilal is gonna out grapple him. The striking is gonna be close. I think JDM is gonna kind of be touching him up, and then Bilal's gonna take him down and take the will out of him. Ground and
Okay.
pound, a little bit of that. Yeah.
And Leon versus Sean Brady.
Ooh, that's a 50-50 for me because, gosh, Sean Brady is a beast. But that striking of Leon,
Yeah.
is how is he gonna adapt to it?
Right.
So I mean, I'm 50-50 there.
50-50.
If I had to take a side, I'd probably go with Leon Edwards 51-49 just
Okay.
because of his skin color.
Hey,
Yeah.
what do you think of JDM and Brady getting these shots though? Is it well deserved?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, obviously there's some
Because
more names.
Buckley's in there too. He didn't get
Yeah,
a
yeah,
call.
that's what
You
I
know what I'm
was just
saying?
about to say.
Yeah.
But obviously it's deserved. Like you can't.
Okay.
It's nothing you can say. Either way that they would have went there, I think the fans will be winning.
Yeah. One fight I want to see. If you're talking about my dream matchup for you to get that title shot or some shit like that, you go out there and you starch a guy like Carlos Prates.
That's who I wanted, but they gave him to Jeff.
Ah, they
I
gave him
literally
to Jeff.
texting my whole team, texting everybody. I got on a conversation, and it was like, if you really should think about who you're gonna call out, and that's who it was until they gave him to Jeff. And when they gave him to Jeff, I was literally watching the UFC fight, and when that dude knocked out Barlow, that conversation was literally going on. So I was like, all right, I'll take him,
Yeah.
and that's
No, but
why,
Sam Patterson, that one excites me.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. And any month, like I know that you're saying it's tough for you right now. That guy Patterson just fought, so that would mean you're gonna have to fight later on. Like,
yeah,
so are you okay with that, or would you rather fight like next month if possible?
yeah, if possible next month. But I mean, with him, I mean, I wouldn't mind waiting 2 months, maybe three, but
Okay.
that's even doing too much.
Right.
I'm
Because then that'd be like 5 months
ready.
by the time you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So a couple months, hopefully Sam Patterson, we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
All
Oh
right, bro.
yeah.
Hey, I appreciate the time. I feel like a lot of people are gonna enjoy this interview.
Sounds good. I appreciate you, man.